Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I'm Katrina. I'm the host of Living With. How are you?
Okay.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Great.
I have some questions for
Okay.
you, if you don't mind me asking them.
No, I sure don't.
Okay. What is your disability?
I have a spinal cord injury.
Okay.
That's a T12L1,
Mhm.
and I don't know. Do I need to say anything else? I don't know. It's just T12L1 spinal injury.
Okay. And how does your spinal cord injury affect your everyday life?
Um, well, it affects it drastically, I'd say, because let me think about that, how it affects my everyday life. Well, because it is part of my life because I am paralyzed partially, and so, I don't know, I would say it makes everything a little bit more harder and takes more time, I guess.
Okay. How has it affected your family?
How has it affected my family?
Yes.
Um, well, the interesting part about my life is I would say my mother was disabled because she had rheumatoid arthritis all through me growing up.
Mhm.
So, while my family, of course, was very upset this happened, they're very supportive of my independence and my strive to gain as much independence as I can.
Mhm. How do you cope with it, and what is your motivation?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first part of the question.
How do you cope with it, and what is your motivation?
How do I cope with it and what my motivation is? Well, I don't know how I cope with it. I don't really think about it that much of how I cope with it, but I just think me as a person, I have a lot of things I want to do. I play music, I make art, I love meeting people and talking to people. So I think my motivation is actually helps me cope with it to do all these things. And because I'm mostly thinking about how to achieve what I want to achieve, I just cope with it in that way. It's like I don't think I don't really I don't know. I don't have any coping techniques, but I think because things that motivate me in life help me cope with my disability.
All right. How does your disability affect your career?
Well, I make a lot of crafts and things, and so for me, I have a strong belief in that I don't think in the United States they do enough for people that don't have a vehicle to drive that may have a disability, and this includes having sidewalks, having buses that are accessible and enough buses. I just think as far as public transportation goes in the United States, it makes it really difficult to just get up and go do things. So you have to have a car or something to be able to accomplish things. So career-wise for me, I would say the biggest obstacle is transportation because I need it to go and play music, to take my art to art shows or to go sell it at local businesses. So I don't know. I guess I necessarily wouldn't say my disability is an obstacle to my career, but more like the support of the transportation issues and things like that are more obstacles to me.
Okay. Can you tell us more about your Indigo campaign and how people can help?
Yeah, definitely. I have on my Indiegogo campaign. Well, first it's to raise money for a handicap accessible van. So basically, and I actually call it a Handicapable van because I don't know, because I feel like it will make my life. It'll give me capabilities to do what I want in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it'll make it capable for me to drive, and I don't know. I feel it's a better descriptive word. And I'm trying to raise money so I can have this, overcome these obstacles I was talking about before.
Mm-hmm.
And basically a van that is handicap accessible costs around $45,000.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to raise that money. And on the Indiegogo campaign, I have art that I made that I'm, that are these are perks, they call them. And so basically I have art that I made, and then a T-shirt a good friend of mine designed that says "Help Priya Keep on Trucking."
Okay.
It's a really cute T-shirt, and just all different types of things for donations. So yeah, I encourage lots of people to donate, because my other goal, actually, what I would like to do once I get a van is to, I don't know I haven't figured it out yet if I'm going to call it inspirational speaking or not, but I really would like to go and meet and talk to people with disabilities, and, just let people know that, a disability are there, and they're there for people in all shapes and forms. Like, I feel like everyone, every person has something that prevents them from doing something in life, whether it's financial or a mental disability or a physical disability. But I just think you have to find your way through life, and while having a disability does make things harder, I just think if something's important enough to you, you do what you have to do to make it happen, and that, becoming a physically disabled person isn't like an end game to life. And so I'd like to go and be able to speak to people, and, all kinds of people that have suffered from becoming disabled.
Okay. I wish you good luck on your achieving your goals.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I wish you good luck on achieving your goals.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you do me a favor?
Yes.
When you actually broadcast this and
Yes.
stuff, could you, email me and just send me the links and stuff? Because I'll let a bunch of people know. And
Yes, I will.
all right, great. Thank you very much, and have a great day.
Oh, yeah, I have one more question for you.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, I have one more question.
A couple more questions.
Oh, yeah, sure. Go
I have
ahead.
a couple more questions. What helps you to stay motivated and when you feel frustrated?
I don't know. I mean, I'll admit, sometimes I do, I'm not going to say I don't get frustrated with my disability, because that would be a lie. And sometimes I just like to cry because it makes me feel better. But like I said before, I have a lot of, drive to do things like play music, make art, help people. And so I think these things help me keep going. And, while the frustration is there, I'll cry for an hour, and then I'll be like, okay, time to stop crying, time to get up and start doing things. And that's basically what I do, basically.
Okay. What is the most misconception about your disability?
The biggest misconception of what?
About your disability.
I don't know. One thing I have learned, I've been disabled now for about 15 years, and the one thing I have noticed is that people, how do I put this? I think there isn't enough discussion about what it means to be disabled, and so I think people just make assumptions of what you are and what you're capable of. And so I think the biggest misconception is really of what, is communication. Like, people are afraid to communicate with disabled people, it seems to me, because I'm not sure if it's because they feel they might offend or what the reasoning is, but I feel like because of this lack of discussion, people don't really know what to do or how to act around you. And so I'm not sure if that answers your question, because I don't really know what people's misconceptions of me are, because people don't really talk about it very much. Like, they seem to just, like, like if I drop something, I can't actually bend down and reach it myself. It's harder for me to get it, but, a lot of people will, run over and try to pick things up for me, which doesn't bother me. I think that's nice of people to do. Or I just think people think because I'm disabled, I can't do a lot of things. So I guess that would be the biggest misconception. But I can actually do a lot more than people think. So I guess, now talking about it to you, like in that long-winded way, I would say one of the biggest misconceptions is people assume because you're in a wheelchair that you're completely incapable of doing anything, and it's really not true, for me anyway. And I also want to say that, everyone's disability is different, so what things I can do, maybe some people can't do. So, maybe, and that's maybe why society has a little bit of confusion with people with disabilities, because not everybody that has a disability has the same disabilities.
Yeah. How has your disability affected your way of seeing other people living with different disabilities?
How's it? I don't know. I think it's kind of shown. I don't know. I mean, a lot of people say I'm inspirational and stuff, but I don't know. I'd like people to really look at me more in the way that I am disabled and I do what I have to do to live my life. And I think, I don't know if I've achieved that with everyone, but I think I've definitely achieved that with some people, showing them that, just because I'm disabled doesn't mean I can't do a lot of things, and maybe I would need help. Like, for me, a musician, I play music and I have to get on the stages. The stages are never really handicap accessible, so I have to do, I have to transfer onto the stage and get help, have someone put the wheelchair up on the stage for me, and then maybe get some help to get back into the wheelchair. But I can actually do it myself, but, it goes quicker if someone can help me, so usually I get someone to help me. But I think by doing that and by people watching what I do to actually make sure I can perform or make sure I can have an art show or whatever, I think, just doing these things, these actions, show people that you can have a disability, and even if things aren't accessible and, aren't set up for a person with a disability, there are ways around it, and you just have to figure it out. So that's really what I'd like to show people.
How would you motivate other people to come out and talk about their disabilities?
I would just I don't know, like, I would just tell them they need to do it, like, because it's how important it is, and that, we're a sector society. People with disabilities are, a sector society that really need to come out and stand up for themselves, just like, like women have, or, African Americans have, throughout history. Disabled people need to stand up and, talk about what's important to them and what they do and what motivates them, and, talk about the good and bad, because I think it's a discussion that's healthy for society to know in general. And I think it would help, I think I would tell the person that I think their action would actually help people come to understand that because you're disabled, and maybe even motivate people to say, hey, I have a stage, and I know this girl that's disabled, she can't get on it, and do things that are more sensitive to people with disabilities as well.
Good.
And that's what I would say to someone.
Is there anything else you would like to share with our audience?
Yeah, I think in America we pay attention to all types of issues with people that are a minority of a minority, and just people with disabilities are definitely a minority in our society, and I feel like the lack of transportation, and where I live in Asheville, North Carolina, the lack of sidewalks and curb cuts and things like that is a really sore overlook in our society, and some people would even say it's a civil rights issue, and I would have to agree with them because, things like that being overlooked prevent people with disabilities from having a life that they should be able to have, and, I think, that's, I think, and that's why I think disabled people should speak up and, do all of that.
Excuse me. I really enjoy your, listening to your music, and that's all the time we have for today.
Okay.
And thank you, Miss Priya, for sharing your story on Living With, and wishing you and your family a happy holiday.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I wish you a happy holiday as well.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.